Welcome to my car and train channel. Today I want to present you very rare BMW 323i Turbo Schnitzer.
Been asked to make a video of my E21 323i Schnitzer Turbo. This car was produced by BMW in 1981 and sent directly to Schnitzer, where the modifications were performed. This is one of two cars that was imported by Hardy and Beck in '81 in Berkeley, California. Unlike Alpina, they kept the M20 motor and fitted a turbocharger onto it. Also, unlike Alpina, they didn't produce many of their own parts specific to their cars because there were so few cars produced. Instead, they utilized a lot of the available motorsports and performance parts that were available. The BBS wheels, a faux ha rear spoiler, a motorsports front air dam, which was available for the E21s. Also a motorsports steering wheel, fully electric Recaro interior, which is pretty cool. 5-speed transmission, Bilstein shocks. They did make this pretty wild deco set, similar to the Alpina cars that help them stand out from the crowd. I tend to like this one. Really makes the car pop out. Car makes about 200 horsepower. A lot of fun to drive. It's a little different than the Alpina B6 because it's a little lighter and more nimble. It does experience some turbo lag, somewhat similar to a 2002 Turbo if you've ever experienced that. But otherwise, a lot of fun to drive. This car had been left at a mechanic in Northern California for over 20 years. The guy never showed up to pay his bill, and the owner just left the car in the back lot until a young mechanic noticed it and was able to purchase it from the owner of the shop. When he realized that the car was a little too much to take on, he sold it to me. When I got the car, it didn't have the BBS wheels. It had Alpina copies. The deco set was missing. It was in need of paint. But other than that, the car was all there and in really good shape. It's only covered 18,000 miles. The car was disassembled and repainted. Engine was removed. CIS injection system was rebuilt. The engine was in actually really good shape, so there was not much to do other than refurbishing the engine bay. The correct wheels were sourced. The front air dam had to be repaired a little bit. I had a friend of mine who's really good with computers recreate the deco set off images on the internet that we were able to find, and the Schnitzer brochure. Schnitzer, if many of you are familiar with them, are terrible with giving information on classic cars. They were really good at labeling and stamping all the parts that they put on their cars. From the exhaust system to the differential to even the long-range tank, similar to the B6 unit. You'll see that they would put plaques and numbers on everything. The engine, block, and head have specific numbers. The diff, which is very similar to the Alpina unit, also has a Schnitzer stamp on it, but not an Alpina, so it'd be interesting to find out where they sourced this unit from. The one in the catalog, I think, was a prototype and never produced, and they just were able to get the diff from the same manufacturer that made it for Alpina, and they just put their number on it instead. You can see the badges were also recreated. They were missing front and back. There's this grill badge. It used fully power Recaro seats, which are really nice. Overall, the car was, like I said, was in great shape. It just needed a little freshening up. This car was federalized, so the kilometers speedometer was changed to MPH, but it still has the tax side with the Schnitzer logo. And I've owned the car for about 7 years. I think it was really important for me to bring it back to the way it left Schnitzer. I think I've accomplished that. And the car runs great, a lot of fun to drive. And I'll just give you some walk around shots of the car. See if I can lower the hood.
The car has been imported by Hardy and Beck from California. It's one of the 2 in existence in the United States. At least it's what scholars think. I would like to thank the BMW Store in Cincinnati, which has been extremely nice to make this car available for this video shoot. But now let's see more about the car.
Hold on.
Inside the cockpit of the car, in the driver's seat, very much 1970s dashboard rounded around the driver, or if I may say, the pilot. Here is the turbo.
Starter fluid. Starter fluid? Alright, then they do Is that another throttle response right now?
We finally got it to start. You can see the turbo on the left side. the Recaro seats. The manual sunroof. I'm not going to try to open it because it's always fragile. View of the turbo below the exhaust manifold. Behind the wall in the trunk you have the Schnitzer extra gas tank. Here you can see clearly the gas hose that goes to the extra fuel tank. Let's close that board, which is unique to Schnitzer. So BMW, the small toolbox inside the trunk lid.
Turbo comes in, you know it comes in too. You got to prepare for it, that there's nothing out in front of it, because there's a lot of lag. A lot of lag between that turbo coming in. I said my foot's probably 3/4 of the way down before she comes. But that's old school, you know.
Yeah.
We don't have the dual. We don't have the old dual and the small spin-up turbos. That's how she was. Out on the Autobahn, you didn't care when it came in. It was, and it's got the old rack and pinion steering, so it's like turning a wheelbarrow.
Is there any steering assistance, or it's not?
Yes, it does, but she's a little old and doesn't get driven much, so again, it's probably got a little tight spot in it too. You know, she's in really good shape for sitting as much as she does.
Yeah.
I'd say probably in the late 90s to 2000, Tom drove her quite a bit then. We got it all done. As you notice, there's a little bit of starting issues, and we kind of worked that out. And it became very reliable car for him, so he drove it quite a bit. I'd say for about 4 or 5 years.
So when did he buy it?
Again, I would not know that 100%. Like I said, have been with the dealership for 33 years, and it was here before I got here.
Ah, okay.
Now, where it was is hard to say. I know a lot of people did a lot of stuff in California. We did a lot of stuff here. like I said, the rear differential has that cooling plate around it.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, the fins, and one of those fins got broke. It took forever to find that. It just all of a sudden showed up one day. We're like, wow.
And that was not stock BMW, the fin and the cooler plate?
No, it wasn't, but it definitely needed it. The rear end, when you would drive this from here to downtown, that rear end would be scalding hot. We tried everything. We tried some of that blue racing stuff in there. We tried everything to keep her nice and cool. The only thing that worked were those fins.
I know that Alpina was putting a cooler, oil cooler system on
oh, right.
the rear differential.
Right. Yeah, it's sad that the tires are so flat spotted. It's like they're square.
And I think that they are low in pressure as well.
They are a little bit, yeah. She wasn't ready for the beauty pageant, but she's holding up pretty good.
I can tell you, my viewers are going to be ecstatic.
Yeah, this was my first start on BMWs, this body style.
I can tell you, when the 323 hit the market in Europe, it was...
Oh, yeah.
That was the car to have.
Yeah.
The 323i and the 528.
Well, the 9, what was this? Probably 86, 87. We, not at this particular, I was working for an independent, and we imported it was an Alpina, and it had the 3.5 liter big 6 in that thing, like in the 5 Series.
That was the C3?
The B3? I think it was a B3?
B3 or C3, no?
Oh, goodness gracious, that thing was... Alpina redid all the intake and everything. Oh, it was so gorgeous. It's neat that they had this stuff back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, we got our M5 comps and our 500 horsepower, this and that, but by golly, these things were pretty daggone quick back in the day. You can have your Camaros and your...
So do you own any special car yourself? You have enough working there during the day? No?
Yeah, I had, it's funny, a guy asked me this weekend, he said, hey, the neighbor, he says, hey, you going to the car show up the street? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I know he works for the post office. And I said, I was thinking about going to the post office and watch packages go by.
That's a good one.
And he's like, I understand what you... you know, I love cars. I can't wait to retire so that I can, you know, I hope, but no, now I have to live vicariously through everybody else's.
Yeah. There is a good BMW group on Facebook.
Sorry about that, my shoe got stuck. They didn't design these for work boots. I've never been to Germany, and I don't know what the Autobahn's like, but I know their cars and the cars that they drove on there. And if those things are concrete with those little lines on there, I can't imagine. These suspensions are just like some of the old Ferraris and some of the old Porsches. Just as stiff as a board. I do know it's been here for at least 35 years.
Yeah, there were two, this one and a white one, and they were imported by Hardy and Beck. Yes, and the other one is still exists as well.
Is that right? Yeah, they. I didn't know a whole bunch about it. I was a young 24-year-old kid when I first saw it, and at that time, to eat that body chassis, you know, that was pretty common. You know, it was a 320 to us. It was
The 323i.
Which was the European version.
Yes.
That came in. Ours, that car was a 320 for us with a 4-cylinder.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, we didn't have a 6-cylinder in the States.
You did not?
Oh no. It was a 2.5 liter engine, if I'm not mistaken. So it was and in Europe, the 2.5 was a 6-cylinder carbureted, if I'm not mistaken.
So I know that there was the 320 6-cylinders, there was a 320 4-cylinders.
And then there was in Europe, I think there was a 318 4-cylinder.
Yeah.
That 4-cylinder, if I'm not mistaken, was put in the U.S. model cars and was called the 320.
Ah, okay.
320i
okay.
actually, because we never had a carbureted by that time. We were done with carburetors.
So how much work have you done on this car?
Mainly just a lot of maintenance. I remember years ago we redid the fins on the differential because one of them had gotten broken. I believe we did a clutch on it, only because it had sat for a while and Tom just wouldn't have a clutch put in it. We had the turbo sent out and somebody, I think KKK turbos went through with it. We did upgrade the hoses for the turbo system. Instead of those black rubber hoses that were drying out on us all the time, we went ahead and just thought we'll just go ahead and put the poly type of hose on it, which you'll see when you see the pictures. They're blue instead of that dark black. The dark black would stay on there so long, and then hot, cold, and moisture, it would start to take the paint off of like the intercooler and the throttle body and stuff like that. Just by the time you try to take it off of there, it form fit to it pretty hard. But that's about it. I don't know. She's pretty much just been sitting around, kind of like your bar fine, so to speak.
Yeah, barn fine, exactly. Well, Roy, thank you very much for those insights. Thanks for watching this video. As you know, I have a lot of BMWs on my Car and Find channel, so I let you enjoy my other videos. There is also a link below towards Amazon books about BMWs.